Cindy's computer says 7, so let's say welcome everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I want to do an attendance. I see people here, but just got to verify. Sandy?
Present.
And Dan?
Present.
And Heather?
Present.
And Dean?
I'm present.
So thank you all. Does anyone have any written disclosure of pecuniary conflict of interest? Sandy?
No, I don't.
Dan?
No, I don't.
Heather?
No.
And Dean?
No.
Great. First item on the, next item on the agenda is petitions and delegations, of which we have none. Followed by the next item is reports from municipal officers. First one there is Chris Wally, Road Superintendent.
Good evening.
Chris?
Yeah, good evening. I guess if anybody has any questions in regards to the report. Okay, I guess I just want to let you know that we started our winter sand today, and we are hauling it from the Bondfield pit.
Very good.
Same price, but it's a little better quality, a little bit grittier sand, but rough old road to haul that down Development Road. So
Yeah.
it took me an hour per trip, make a round trip down and dump it. So it wasn't too bad. So they've got 5 trucks. They got 3 trucks of their own, 3 triaxles and 2 R2 tandems. So it's probably going to take us 4 days versus 2 days.
It usually does though, right, right, Chris? It takes a few days.
Well, when we're hauling out of the LeBlanc pit there, it goes really, really fast. We can do a load about every 25 minutes. And when you got 5 trucks, that's a lot of loads in an hour. And but it's just not really good quality sand. So we had put in 10 loads or 19 loads of a 5/8 A gravel sort of thing. It's the same type of gravel that you use for chip sealing or the hard surface on the main road. So it doesn't have a big 3/4 or 7/8 stone in it. It has a 5/8 stone. And we put that in there for when we get rainy days or ice storms, and that we can dig into the corner, the left corner, left side of the sand dome and get at that A gravel.
Okay, I had a question about the herbicide usage. I spray my driveway because I paid a lot of money for that gravel, and the vegetation takes it over, and I can't afford more gravel. When we were down south, we were expected to take care of municipal property. If we didn't, we had bylaws to enforce it, and we would be charged if we didn't take care of municipal property. And I didn't see any bylaws against using herbicides. I understand that the municipalities aren't using it, but if you can buy it, you're allowed to use it. So I looked through our bylaws and I didn't see anything that said, no, you're not allowed to use it.
No, you are allowed to use it on your own property, not on municipal property.
It doesn't say anything that though.
Sorry?
It doesn't say anything about us not being able, because I would like to get rid of the scrub down the front of my driveway.
Well, anytime in the past, when anybody approached us about spraying a chemical on the side of the roads, and Hydro has years ago, council was very adamant about not allowing any spraying.
I read something about that a few years ago, but yeah, no, just to keep the weeds down, or else I couldn't see it coming out my driveway because there's a little dip coming up, and it's blind. So if somebody's doing 80, I'm clipped.
Okay, just
So
to be
I don't
clear, I'm
have-
not sure what it was or what it is. So
or
Well,
herbicide.
I don't know why it's a bad thing to kill the herbicide, like kill the vegetation.
I'm just informing you is on what I saw.
Oh, okay, because I do it too. I just think, oh, got to take care of our land. Okay, that's it.
There was concerns in the past about, when Hydro was spraying, that if they
Yeah.
sprayed along the edge of the road, it, might affect, farmers' fields and, someplace where, livestock could, travel.
Yeah, we have to as farmers use herbicide on our property, like, and we're allowed to as farmers. That's how we keep the weeds down for our hay, and we fertilize and use herbicides. So I was concerned about that. That's all.
I wanted to make a comment about the sand. I think that's going to be a positive thing to get rid of your sand, and I'm happy to hear that we also have that stockpile. It seems that maybe it's just personal perception, Chris would know better than me. It just seems like we get last 2 winters with a lot of ice events, and it's definitely been a concern for some residents on some of the hills and corners. So I think that's going to be a positive thing, although it might take more time to hold.
Yeah, it is. Is definitely a lot better sand. I think we'll have better results from it. Also, as far as aggregates, we're having difficulty getting crushed gravel or A gravel this year for our roads. I've gone out and talked to a couple different pits in the area, and everybody else's price is higher than what we are currently getting, and also it's farther. So I'm just currently looking at one more pit tomorrow or the next couple of days to see if we can make them a deal. It's way down by the golf course, and again, it's very far to haul, but we might be able to get a fair amount or a bit of it onto the roads before too long, or in the fall, like before the snow comes.
Chris, have we put any, or how much gravel have we put on the roads up to this point? I know there's been difficulty sourcing it.
Yeah, earlier this summer, we put probably, I'm thinking it was around 25 loads, and we basically cleaned up whatever they had in stockpile at the Calvin Quarry, which is by Columbia Forest Products. So there's no other gravel available to us right now from our traditional source. So I guess,
Any other questions?
sorry, if I find gravel within the same price range as what we are getting it for now, and which would include the trucking, then I'm going to pursue that if council doesn't have any objections.
I just have one thing to say, Ian. I just wanted to say, Chris, thanks for doing such a good report. I really get a lot of information on your report, and I get a sense of what's happening in the department. I really appreciate that. You can see how much hard work you guys are doing, and it's nice that it's down on paper like this, so I can see that. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Chris.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is Dean Maxwell, Fire Chief.
Hi, everybody. How are
Hi, good.
All right.
you? So for the month of August, it was a pretty quiet month for us. We've only had one call, which was a down hydro line. On a branch broke off on Peaceful Lane. Unfortunately, it was already marked for hydro to cut this tree, but it didn't make it. The branch fell off and was arcing away, so we had to call hydro in and shut the hydro down and trim the tree off, and then we just ended up putting it down. We were probably on scene for probably an hour and a half there until hydro showed up. Unfortunately, it's a slow response, but that's kind of the way those calls go. For meetings, we've been doing August 6th, we did portable pump training. So we had the access to the Wally Bridge finished at that point. So we went down with PT2, drove the truck down in there, had the pumps out, just kind of get a feel for it. And we're able to get in and out of there pretty easily, which was nice to see with all the work we put in there. So that really worked out well for us. On August 11th, we've been doing backboarding. Renee just did a review with all the guys, trying to just keep everybody up on with all the people traveling right now. Auto expos are usually by this time of year, so we're trying to keep up on our medical call stuff. I personally had been asked by Pathum to go over do some Auto X training for them. They've got a high turnover of new guys, so they wanted me to come over and show their guys some stuff, so I did that on the 11th as well. On August 20th, we did truck checks, went over all the trucks and the calls, and we changed one of our hose lays on our main pumper. We changed the way we just have them on. And we also did, on August 27th, we did backboarding out of MVC, so more of that training on in line. And then we run all our power units, which goes to show, like, we had a power, or our Auto X unit, we had a problem. One of our spark plugs, because it ended up being a spark plug, but it wouldn't run properly. Something simple like spark plug takes it down, especially now that there's no auto parts store in Mattawa. So we got that back up and running, and we got a spare one in stock now. August 21st, so all the trucks, the pumper and PT1 and PT2 went to their pump test over in Papineau. We had Wayne Brown and Hilaire Grove took them over. There was no problems there. All our truck passed their pump test, so that was good news. We have done quite a bit of work to our trucks in the last little bit. We changed 2 ball valves and pumper, and 2 ball valves and a pump to tank valve on PT1 as well. So we're trying to keep everything in good maintain order. So this month as well, all the trucks are going for their safety. They're due now there. So they'll be going in this month. So if you see trucks out and about, that's usually what's going on. And for firefighter support, so we have set a date for Firefighters Appreciation Day, September 19th. One of our firefighters are going to be hosting at their house, so it's going to be an outdoor event. And we pretty well have everything all set up. We've also had some upgraded work. So we've had some upgrade work done to our cascade system. We have added 4,500 pound cylinders to it and got them in from TransCanada to come in and install. It was kind of nice having them come in because there was just minor changes, nothing big, but just like having the valves point in the right direction. So there's lots of safety stuff that was actually added to it. So that was really enjoyed having them here because they didn't, like, nice little corrections to the system. It hasn't been touched in a while. So it's good to keep everything up to par. And that's pretty well all for the month of August. If there's any questions on that.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Dean? Sandy?
No, I don't.
Dan?
Are we invited to the Fireman Appreciation Celebration?
We usually do, but this year because of COVID, we're trying to keep everything small. We've been also keeping, like, we've been approached about the Halloween thing too.
Really?
And I've said that we won't be doing that this year just because of all the COVID things. Unfortunately, we really enjoy doing that, but at this point, we're just trying to keep the hall here, you know, sanitized, and I'm trying to keep all my guys healthy. So we're just trying to do a little small event here in Elton.
I don't want a jacket or anything.
Yeah, budget's tight, sorry.
Thank you.
Heather, any questions?
No, just thank you for your diligence.
And Dean? Grant? Oh,
Sorry, I'm stuck on mute. No, I don't have any questions.
okay, thank you. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a report from Jacob Grove, Recreation Landfill and Cemetery.
Hello. So I don't have anything to add for recreation or landfill. Cemetery, there's going to be 2 burials going on September 12th. And just so you're aware, I have, for municipal enforcement, I have received a complaint about stray cats. We don't have a bylaw right now that regulates stray cats. So there's nothing that I can do for stray cats. We don't have an agreement with the Humane Society to drop them off there as well. This is the second complaint in about the 7 years that I've been doing bylaw that I've received about cats. So it's not a big issue, or at least an issue that has been brought to my attention. That's all I got to add on to my report. If there's any questions about the stuff that's written in the report, please feel free to ask it, or any other questions regarding the departments.
Any questions, Councillor Cross?
No, I don't.
Councillor Maxwell?
Just one question, comment. At the last meeting, we asked to have the announcement of the playground being open put on the app and social media, so that the community would know that it was open. I see that it was open, but I didn't see it on the app, or I didn't see it on our website anywhere. I think the kids would like to use that on the long weekend that are around here. Would have been nice to know if it was open or not.
Okay, I was
It
not
was a
aware
directive
that
put forward at the last meeting.
Yeah, I apologize. I was not aware that we didn't make that announcement public, although we did have quite a bit of use from kids as soon as it was opened.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Grant.
I'm interested in the sanitizing. It says here that the playground is sanitized weekly. I'm wondering what kind of time frame, what kind of commitment that takes. Essentially, I'm just questioning whether it needs to be done weekly, but I'm interested in the effort.
So time, I would estimate to go around to the outhouse, washrooms, playground, soccer field, the garbage cans around the outside of the hall, the playground, the rink garbage, and the ball field garbage, and then any of the areas that we would reasonably expect to be commonly touched at the ball field. It takes about an hour and approximately 2.5 to 3 gallons of the alcohol sanitizer to do it each time.
Okay, that seems more than reasonable to me. I just like to keep an eye on that. I think that's reasonable, and just to make sure we don't overburden ourselves cleaning outdoor facilities. I just, especially if they have minimal use. But thank you.
Councillor Olmsted, anything from you?
No, that answered my question. How do you apply it? Do you wipe it or spray it? Just out of curiosity.
We spray it. We have something similar to a pesticide sprayer that we use to pressurize the canister and spray it on all the surfaces.
Oh, okay, that's efficient. Okay, thank you. No, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Can I ask one more question, Ian? Mayor, can I ask one more question?
Where'd you go?
Am I here?
I hear you.
Cindy, is the mayor available?
Is Cindy or the mayor on the meeting?
Guess they're gone. We'll wait.
15 minutes, is it?
Yes.
So I guess the deputy mayor Sandy is in charge until he gets back.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes, she is.
We're supposed to wait.
We had our
If we
baseball game.
don't have-
How'd it go?
It was really good. It was nice using the facilities. It's always appreciated by our group. We had a special game of social distancing, and I was the social distance cop. I was called the Big C, so I'd enforce it. Or take it away if they violated, but actually everyone really behaved well, so I didn't give any violations out. It's kind of disappointing. Well, no, it wasn't. But
Sorry to interrupt, Andy. Cindy is using the screen. For some reason, she's here.
Yeah.
She can hear
Oh.
us. However, her voice is not communicating.
Nope.
I can hear you now, Cindy.
Yes,
Can
we're
you?
typing.
yes, Ken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear you
perfect.
now.
Oh,
Okay,
there's
Mayor.
it. There's Mr.
Uh,
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
there was a question.
Yeah, Mayor Pennell, I just had one question about the Freon being drained from the refrigeration. Is there any guarantee that we know that that Freon is being drained? Because it's going to a third party. I was just concerned that they may not drain and they may just like crush all those fridges and without draining it, which would be like an environmental, we pay an environmental fee to make sure the property drains. So do you have any way of checking that those are properly drained since we paid to have them drained?
I have, other than the receipt that they sent us, I don't have anything other than that, but I know that the MOE has stepped up going around to the scrap yards and inspecting them. That's why we're no longer able to send the fridges without compressors to the scrap yards for free. Regardless of whether or not they're drained or not, they have to be tagged before the scrap yards are allowed to process them. So that's why we needed to come up with an arrangement for them to have their guy come in, like drain them on their site, as we couldn't get anyone to come out to our site to drain them.
So we don't know if it actually gets done or not. We have no guarantee, no assurance that it's actually being properly done. Then we're leaving it in their hands. It's up to them.
Yeah, we're leaving it up to them. We've got our paper trail that they've been shipped out and they're saying that they're being drained.
Okay. That's all I have. That's the only other question I had. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anything else for Jacob? No? Okay. Next item there is a report from Chief Building Official, Shane. Any questions on that one? So anyone might be able to answer? Councilor Croft?
No, I don't.
Councilor Maxwell?
No questions. I guess that's the townships that there's no fee involved. The first permit. That must be our fee, our township fee, I guess, our project. Number 18 are the permits. I just see there's no fee there. I'm just assuming that's the township. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, that's a correct assumption.
Thank you.
Councilor Olmsted?
No, it's pretty clear.
Councilor Grant?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is reports from committees, and we have none. Next item is action letters, and first under that is A, minutes of the regular council meeting of Tuesday, August 25th. It was enclosed in our package. So I need a mover and a seconder for this resolution. Councilor Cross, did you move this one?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Councillor Grant, could you second it?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Fanny, seconded by Dean. The minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, August 25th be hereby adopted and signed as circulated. Any discussion on that? Councillor Cross,
No, look good to me.
Councillor Maxwell,
No discussion.
Councillor Olmsted,
No discussion.
and Councillor Grant.
No discussion.
Okay, so I need to vote to accept these, please. Councillor Cross, you vote yea or nay?
Yay.
Councillor Maxwell,
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted,
Yay.
and Councillor Grant.
Yes.
I'm going to vote yea as well. Thank you. So this resolution is carried. Next item on the agenda is a report from the clerk treasurer. It's 2020 CT 3rd Street Report to Council, Emergency Control Group, meeting summary from August 26, 2020. Everyone's had a chance to read that, I assume?
Yep.
Any comments, Councillor Cross?
No comment.
Councillor Maxwell?
Not particular. I'm just curious, how many phases are there in stage 3? Is there 3 stages or more? 3 phases in stage 3, sorry. How many phases are in stages?
Phase, I think there's 3. Is that right, Cindy?
There are 3 stages in phase 2, and there are 3 phases.
Okay, there are 3 stages. Okay, there are 3 stages, and each stage has 3 phases.
The other way around.
There are 3 phases, and each phase has 3 stages. Okay.
I do have a
Oh,
question.
so we're in stage 2. Okay, and we're in phase 3 of stage 2. Oh, I see. Okay. Excuse the confusion.
It is very confusing.
It is.
Anything else,
So when will
Councillor?
it be? Oh, sorry.
Nothing else.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yeah, it says it will be brought forward to council for approval. Any timeline for that?
Well, it's being developed. By Rainey, and it's not totally finished yet. So when that happens, then it'll come forth to council. There is no timeline for it, though.
Okay.
Anything
That's
else,
all.
Councillor Olmsted?
No, that's all.
Councillor Grant? Any comments?
Yes, please. I just pulled up I just think it's important for us to reflect on the COVID situation in particular, on what the actual facts that we have are. And I believe there are 0 active cases, and all cases in the district have been solved. Now, unfortunately, they don't list times or dates, but I believe it's been like this for a while. And I guess my question is, I think we need to update ourselves and remind ourselves about the dangers and the risks and the actual numbers that we have here in our district. And I'm curious to when we might, I guess, at what threshold, when do we're in a state of emergency, when do we leave our state of emergency? And, why are we in it? So we figure out how to get out of it. Just curious. I'm assuming there's a cost associated with these meetings.
Do you assume there's a cost?
I'm assuming that there's likely a cost associated with having extra meetings, and I just want to make sure that we're conscious of when we're exiting a state of emergency.
We've all decided as a group, the control group, that we should maintain the state of emergency at this time. There are a number of reasons for doing that. One is access to funds if we require it. We are able to access help or assistance from other areas. And it's not impairing municipality in any way by remaining in the state of emergency. I think currently in the province there's still over, I believe it's over 200 municipalities that are still in the state of emergency, and I think I'm getting mixed up my numbers here, but I think there was 49 who weren't or had withdrawn. And there's still people going into states of emergency, right, due to COVID. I'm not sure of any costs. I'm not aware of any to this point. Cindy, are you aware of any costs so far to maintain the state of emergency?
The only extra cost that I would say, because the CEMC, Renee Knight, would have to still attend the webinars and everything that he's attending, spending the time on updating the emergency plan, et cetera. All those costs would be there. The only extra cost I'd say would be, our meetings, which are every 2 weeks. That's about the only extra cost I'd say.
Okay, thank you. That answer your question, Grant?
It does. It provides a lot of clarification. I appreciate the response, Mayor Pennell. I'm just hoping that the cost of the meetings is not substantial. If everyone that attends is receiving remediation. I'm assuming it's not substantial, but I'm going to follow up with the actual cost of the meeting. And I think your points are very valid. It makes sense to me. I guess would like to be, conscious of when might be a good time to exit. I guess we're just going to consider that for now. And thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Next item on the agenda is bylaw 2020-019. It's an amendment to bylaw 2008-008 and bylaw 2020-008, which is an amendment to a procedural bylaw to include electronic meetings. So we had passed the first and second reading at our last meeting. Excuse me. So I need a mover and a seconder for the third reading. Councillor Maxwell, can you move this one?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And Councillor Olmsted, could you second it, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is moved by Councillor Maxwell and seconded by Councillor Olmsted, the third reading, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2008-008 and bylaw 2020-008, which are bylaws to govern and regulate the meetings and proceedings of council and committees of the Corporation of the Vale of Calvin, and commonly called procedural bylaw. So any discussion on that? Councillor Cross,
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell,
No discussion.
Councillor Olmsted,
No discussion.
and Councillor Grant.
No discussion.
I didn't hear, but I'm assuming that was a yes.
I'll go get
So we need, okay, thank you. We need to vote on this then. So Councillor Cross, do you vote yea or nay?
Yay.
And Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
yes.
And I vote yea as well. So the third reading of this bylaw is now carried. Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is bylaw 2020-020. It's an update to the hall rental and equipment use policy for the municipality. So we had the first and second readings done at our last meeting. So I need a mover and a seconder for this third reading at this meeting. So Councillor Olmsted, would you be able to move this one?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Maxwell, would you be able to second it?
Yes, Ken.
Thank you. So we have this reading moved by Councillor Olmsted and seconded by Councillor Maxwell of this bylaw to adopt a policy outlining the terms and conditions and fees for the rental of the Calgary Community Centre and its equipment, commonly known as the hall rental and equipment use policy. Any discussion on this? Councillor Cross.
No, it just looks like everything was updated to current standards, and I think the increase to the rental was sufficient, and I think this is a good thing for our community. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Maxwell?
I need a bit more time on this one to review it properly. Can Cindy maybe give us an outline of what the changes were? Exactly, what changed in the bylaw?
All references to the water cistern system, were removed. Anything that related to the AP system was changed to the TV system.
Okay.
Anything related to food handling, there was an addition of the food handling course that was required. The fees themselves were increased. So anything that was, essentially I took half of what was there previously, so $50 fee became a $75 fee. So
Okay.
the $50 fee, I took half of whatever that cost was, which was $25, and added it to the fee. So like I said, $50 fee became $75 fee, $100 fee became $150 fee, etc.
Okay.
That's really about the only changes that were made.
Okay, thank you. And the other question I had was about the just about the policy itself. Was why do we have 1 o'clock as a cutoff date for events going at night? Just curious about that, and the times that we've kind of allotted in here. I'm just curious about why we had these how we came up with these time suggestions for cleanup time. For example, next day you can only do it to afternoon or something like that. You can't come in before 2:30. Oh, you have to be out by 2:30 a.m. What is the purpose of having all these times on the event? Just curious if anyone knows from the past, from the original production of this bylaw.
I'm sorry, I missed the first question, so
It was,
I don't know the answer. I can't answer that, but in terms of the time suggestions, I don't know what the purpose was in the original. I do have to say that we do have to have certain time constraints on it so that, you know, we can do our appropriate cleaning and things afterwards. Depending on what's going on the next day, if we are having a booking the following day as well, there does have to be certain time constraints on it. We don't want the keys to be out for too long so that people forget about them and don't bring them back or lose them, or, you know, those types of things. So that's one of the reasons why there's time constraints on, you know, key return. In terms of being allowed to come in to decorate and all that sort of thing, again, we have to be able to clean the hall appropriately, especially with COVID nowadays. We have to make sure that everything's clean before. So I don't know what the original purpose was, but based on what I know now, those are sort of the reasons, some of the reasons, of why we would have time constraints. I'm not sure if Jacob would have additional information.
like I noticed, for example, when you're decorating, you have to be out of the hall by 10 o'clock at night. I'm just curious, like, what's the difference between 10 or 12 if you're there getting ready for a wedding the night before? Just some of these restrictions, I don't know. I don't understand why they're there. I guess I didn't make the policy, so I'm just asking if anyone knows why we have all these tight timelines.
Unfortunately, I don't know where the times came from. I can't answer that. I wasn't here when the original policy was developed.
So is there a problem with the times that you can see, Councillor Maxwell? You want them changed, or?
Well, I just don't know how strict, I don't know if it's even enforceable for one thing. I don't know who's going to come and check at 2, 3 in the morning to make sure he's not here, or after 10 o'clock at night. After it says you have to be out of the hall if you're decorating by 10 o'clock the night before. Like, logically, you'd like to be, but sometimes it's just that you're down to the wire and things aren't working out, or I don't see why we have to have those restrictions on there, but it's fine the way it is. I guess everybody seems to be able to work with it, so I don't want to hold up the restrictions for that. But that's all I have to say, if anybody.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted.
Just while we're on this, are we going to have the courses for the safe cooking pretty soon?
Are we going to hold courses?
Pardon me?
Are you asking if we're going to put on courses?
No. Remember, we need to have a course for safe cooking, and we need to take that course, and we were all going to take it, but then COVID happened. Do we have any time? It's so we can use the hall. We need to have that safe practices course, and I just want to know if it's in the works. That's all.
Mayor Pennell, may I
Yes,
respond
please.
to that?
Yes, please.
So I've been in constant, well, not every day or anything like that, but I've been in fairly regular, that's a better word, regular contact with the inspector from the health unit. And at the moment, they're not running any courses. He's in the process of making an online course. He's done one of them in a test trial, but they haven't been able to write the exam because he feels the exam needs to be written in person. And his opinion at the moment would be he'd like to wait until October to see what happens in terms of the second wave, if there is one, how bad it is, et cetera, et cetera. That way he can also judge how busy he's going to be. So right at the moment, we're aiming to have one in October. Part of it may be online and the other part in person. But at the moment, he's trying to work out the details.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anything, Councillor Grant?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good with the policy as it is.
Okay, thank you. So we have to vote now if we're going to accept this third reading. Councillor Cross, how do you vote?
Yay.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
Councillor Grant?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, I vote yea as well. Thank you. So the third reading is hereby carried. Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is something brought forward by Councillor Maxwell, and it's a resolution for a roads need study with speed posting evaluation. Are you still there, Cindy?
We
I
are
am,
now.
yeah.
It
Okay.
went silent for a minute.
Sorry, did you ask me a question? Sorry.
No, we went on to the next item,
Yes?
and it was item E. It was a resolution brought forth by Councillor Maxwell.
Mm-hmm. So I contacted our engineer. Unfortunately, he just got back from vacation today and could not provide me with the costing. He will, hopefully before the next council meeting. But unfortunately, because he was on vacation and I didn't have the information, this is as far as I could put together in terms of Councillor Maxwell's request. That we'll
Okay.
investigate it, and if
But
council
this
does
resolution is a resolution to have you do that, right?
yes,
Am I- so I'm gonna need a mover and a seconder to do this, right?
Oh, I see, I'm sorry, that's what you're asking me.
No problem. So I need a mover, Mr. Grant, Councillor Grant, would you move
Yes, sir.
this one?
Yes.
And, Councillor Cross, would you second it, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Excuse me, so we have a resolution moved by, Councillor Grant and seconded by Councillor Cross, that council hereby requests the clerk treasurer to further investigate the requirements and costs involved in having a roads needs study with the speed posting evaluation study done in the 2021 calendar year. Any further discussion? Councillor Cross?
No. Maybe we should
Councillor Maxwell?
defer.
Sorry? Councillor Cross?
Just if we want to wait for the numbers, maybe we should defer until Cindy has them. That's the only thing I would have to say. Otherwise, we could go ahead.
This resolution is to allow Cindy to go ahead and do this investigation. Okay? I'm wondering if you agree or disagree or have any concerns.
Yeah, no, I agree. Go ahead. I don't have any
Okay,
concerns.
thank you. Councillor Maxwell?
I just want to make sure that people that who is doing it, I'd like to know who is doing this study or the investigation and what their credentials are. One of my concerns is that once we get a report like this, we might be legally bind to implement it because we have the facts now. So now we know. And so I want to make sure the person who's telling us this is sufficiently trained to do this type of study, because I wouldn't want us to have to go and put signs all over the place and have different signs for every corner or every bend that's requires a lower speed limit. We could get quite a bit of money. That's all my one concern about having the report done, but that's why I'd like to see the person's credentials, make sure that he's actually trained in this type of study, and that the information is accurate. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
This is just unnecessary use of resources as far as I'm concerned. I understand if we wanted to make the Indianapolis was 500 or something, but we want to lower the speed limit. And I was concerned about cost. That's why I just thought we'll make it 60. I don't believe we should waste the money on a study to lower the speed limit. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Councillor Grant?
I support the further information, so I do support the resolution. However, I do have some concerns about a potential road study. I'd like to see, yes, cost is crucial. I'd also like to see a small little description of, you know, what it involves, what's entailed, and who's conducting it, like Councillor Maxwell had said, before I make a decision as a council on whether I think it's a good idea for this. Thank you.
So do we want, it sounds like you want to modify this resolution to find out what the cost would be, what the requirements would be, and who would be providing that information and their qualifications prior to moving forward with it. Would that be a correct assumption?
Yeah, from my perspective as Councillor Grant, I feel like the resolution is sufficient because it does mention investigate requirements and costs. However, it could be modified to be a little bit more specific if the other councils are comfortable with that. But you know, I think it is sufficient as it reads itself. But yes, we could. It's up to the other councils and yourself, Mayor.
My concern is if we fail and have to implement perhaps more gravel, how much cost would that incur? Because now we're obligated, because of the knowledge, to upgrade our standards, and do we have the money to cover that? That's my concerns. So once we're in deep. I'm not sure if we should get there or go there. That's all I have to say.
But any change needs to be investigated, whether it's lowering or raising, right?
I agree, but well, we can't raise it, but I just think that once we talk with the engineer and we can find out that perhaps our roads aren't sufficient, and how much would we have to bring our roads even just to go 60 kilometers an hour is what I'm saying. Because the standards are quite high. And so if he tells us that, you know, basically we need to add, you know, a couple $1,000s to each road, then it could end up costing us a lot of money.
Okay, understood. So everyone's had a chance to comment on this now. So we're going to take a vote on it. If you want to proceed with it, the vote would be yay. And if you don't want to proceed with it, the vote would be nay. All right? So Councillor Cross, how would you vote?
Yay.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
No.
Councillor Grant?
I support the resolution as it reads, so yes.
Okay, and I vote yea as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much.
I do have a question for Cindy, if that's possible.
Okay.
Is
Go.
this have we had this study done before, and is it mandatory to have it done over a certain period of years, or is this just us being inquisitive?
We have had a roads needs study done before. It hasn't been done since about 2008, 2010, somewhere in that area. It's not necessarily mandatory. It's just a good idea for us to have, especially going forward with things like acid management, any kind of grant applications that we're doing. A lot of them, the upper levels of government want this sort of information. So while no, it's not mandatory, it would be a good thing to have. As the speed posting evaluation part of it, as far as my knowledge goes, we've never had that sort of evaluation done before, not professionally.
So when they do the looking at the roads, do they look at all the roads, including our, not just the main roads, but all of the roads, even the seasonal roads?
Yes, based on what I see in the last one that was done, they look at all roads.
It's Chris, can I interject a little bit on that one?
Yes, please.
Okay, a roads need study, it basically prioritizes what your needs are. Like, it might not be speed limit signs, it may be guardrails or gravel or et cetera, but it kind of puts everything into perspective as what your your major needs are and where you should be spending your money first.
Just to second that, and we move on, but I think it's maybe valuable that council reads the original study. I think there may be some things that are of interest there. I read it at the beginning of our term, and I don't quite remember, but I believe there were some things that were suggested that still haven't been done now. So might be good information to read the original or what we've had done in the past.
So we've just passed the resolution, okay? And everybody's voted on it, right? And now you want to go back?
Me? No, just suggesting that we read the study that we've already done. That's all. Sorry.
Okay, that's good. I just want a clarification.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. No, I can clarify if it's misunderstanding.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item then. Next item on the agenda is F, Municipality of Calvin. It's a resolution basically to the sections 8 and 9 will be reinstated for the landfill. So I need a mover and a seconder for this. So if I could get Councillor Cross, can you move this one?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Olmsted, could you second it, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councillor Cross, seconded by Councillor Olmsted, that as follows. Whereas the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit has been approved by the provincial government to enter into phase 2 of reopening, and whereas the procedures that have been in place at landfill to help the community sort their own recycling for approximately 2 to 3 months, and whereas to help continue to extend the life of our landfill, therefore be it resolved that as of September the 8th, sections 8 and 9 of the landfill bylaw 2019-021 be reinstated. Any discussion? Councillor Cross.
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell.
I have a question about the bylaw 2019-021. That's the, I believe that's the bylaw that prevents divertible items from going over the edge. Is that correct? And if it is, I would like it in the resolution so that it would read We'd read like that, so that people know exactly what that is, because when you see this in the minutes, you don't know what this is. This is like, doesn't mean anything to anybody. Is that correct, first of all? That Cindy, can you answer, or Jacob, or whoever wrote this up?
Jacob?
Hi. Sorry, I didn't quite catch the question there. It was, you want to know if this is specifically the landfill bylaw and if that was for the section 8 and 9 was preventing divertibles from going over. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was when we updated the landfill bylaw, I believe it was last fall with council. We added in that section or changed the wording to prevent any divertibles from going over. Yeah, that's what section 8 and 9 address.
Didn't we see this bylaw once already and have it deferred until the emergency was lifted? I thought we had passed that. Is that?
Yeah, sorry, I apologize for interrupting. Yeah, the last resolution was deferred until after the Ontario lifted its state of emergency. As Ontario's lifted its state of emergency, we thought we'd bring it forward to council to see if council wants to reenact these parts of the bylaw, or if we want to wait until Calvin lifts our state of emergency. We just wanted some direction from council on this as to how they'd like to proceed.
So, Councillor
Okay,
Maxwell, do you want this to include the landfill bylaw?
I would just like a description of, well, for one thing, I don't want to support it because I'm not interested in supporting this opening of this at this time, because it's we're still operating under the COVID restrictions. We still are having it hasn't changed. Nothing hasn't changed in how we have to manage our landfill, our waste. So I don't want to do any changes to this. Not that I don't think that makes a big difference anyway, but I don't see why we have to push forward with this and make somebody breaking the rule because they haven't sorted their garbage properly and they're putting it over the edge. So it's making criminals out of a lot of residents in Calvin right now. So I would like to not support this at this time and defer it till later. But when it does come back, I'd like to see a description of what the actual bylaw is, because a bylaw number like that is hard for the general public to understand what we're passing. So it looks like we're sliding something past them when you only use a number to describe something. Just for what do you call it? Transparency. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted.
Oh, I absolutely agree with Councillor Maxwell. Although if we did accept this, would that mean that our staff will be sorting recycling again?
I'm not sure. Councillor Grove, are you, no, not Councillor Grove. Mr. Grove, are you capable of answering that?
At this time, because our residents have been doing such a good job at sorting their own recycling, as you could see from the report that I did last month, we virtually had no drop in the amount of recycling that went out over the time period of COVID starting, that I would encourage the public to continue to sort themselves, so that way as we get into September, November, as the kids are going back to school and there's the potential for the second wave, we're not risking putting our staff at risk of getting sick, and then we don't run ourselves into a situation where we're not able to have the landfill open for lack of employees to operate it.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Grant, any comments?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of going. I would like to make a change all at once myself. I'd like to see the staff sorting come back all at the same time as all of this. I'm wondering what our threshold is, when that may be, just because we do have 0 active cases and all cases have been resolved. So I don't know for how long we have to maintain that before we go back, and something for council to consider, I suppose, before we go back to I would say business as usual with PPE. Is the way I envision it. So I don't support it as it sits until we go back to our way of sorting. If we are, I think it's a conversation we have to have. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna take a vote on this then. Cause it's before us. Councilor Cross, do you vote yea or nay?
Nay.
Councilor Maxwell,
No.
Councilor Olmsted,
No,
and Councilor Grant.
Yes.
I'll agree. I'll vote nay as well. Thank you. So this resolution is not carried. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a consent application, 2020-02. So I need a mover and a seconder for this one. Councilor Grant, could you move this one?
Yes, I will.
Councilor Maxwell, could you second it?
Yes, Ken?
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councilor Grant and seconded by Councilor Maxwell. Whereas an application for consent number 2020-02 in the name of Duquette has been filed with the East Nipissing Planning Board on land known as Concession 4, Lot 1 in this South of Calvin, create a lot addition, 34 acres, the municipal address being 70 Peddlers Drive, which is a year-round maintained municipal road, and now therefore that the Council Municipality of Calvin resolves that it is recommended that the East Nipissing Planning Board give provisional consent to this application, and the Public Works Superintendent must be contacted for entrance permits for the locate of entrances on lot addition. A copy of the completed survey for the new residential lot shall be provided to the municipality in both digital format and hard copy, and that 5% cash new shall apply the 3 newly created lots and is payable in full to the municipality as a requirement of the consent. Any discussion on that? Councilor Cross.
No discussion.
Okay. Councilor Maxwell.
No discussion.
Councilor Olmsted.
no discussion. I'm happy to see he's coming back home.
Councilor Grant.
No discussion.
Okay, so we'll take a vote on this, please. Do you vote yea or nay to accept this resolution, Councilor Cross?
Yay.
Councilor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councilor Olmsted?
Yes,
And Councilor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yea as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda was a resolution to support a resolution from the township of South Glengarry, and send that support to Vic Fidelli, MPP for Nipissing Anthony Rhoda for Nipissing to Mishamang. So I need a mover and a seconder on this one. Councilor Maxwell, can you move this one?
Yes, Ken?
Councilor Cross, could you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councilor Maxwell and seconded by Councilor Cross that the Council of the Corporation Municipality of Calvin supports the resolution 229-2020 dated July 20th, 2020 of the Township of South Glengarry on the need to provide further funding and perform regular inspections of long-term care facilities. and further that the funding and personnel to perform these inspections will need to come from upper levels, provincial and federal, of government. And further that this resolution be circulated to Vic Fidelli, MPP for Nipissing, and Anthony Rhoda, MPP for Nipissing/Temiskaming. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion.
Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
And Councillor Grant?
No discussion.
Thank you. So we need to vote on to forward this. Councillor Cross, do you vote yea or nay?
Yay.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yea as well, so this resolution is carried. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a review of the fees and charges bylaw, provided by Cindy, our clerk treasurer.
There's no more voice again. I jinxed us when I said Zoom works so good. There's no flaws. Like seriously.
So did everybody have a chance to, excuse me, review these?
So actually, on that question, I do have a comment, Mayor Pennell.
Okay.
Just since you mentioned it, I actually did not have, I don't believe I did have sufficient time to review it. Just with the package coming on the Friday of the long weekend, and with my work and what I was doing. There's six bylaws here, I think, that we were, were to review and provide comment if necessary. I've only gotten through probably 2 of them. And I just wanted to make that known. I apologize to everyone, but I haven't had sufficient time.
Okay. So are you suggesting perhaps we bring it forward to the next meeting?
Sorry, I would suggest that. I would like to hear other councillors, on I'm still open for comments. Just personally, yes, I would make a suggestion if it comes back again and more time.
Okay, Councillor Cross, your thoughts?
Well, I prefer that everybody had the chance to read everything. The only ones I were really hesitant about, because I think we've already done the municipal landfill fees. We just did the Helvin rec fees, or the hall fees. So the only ones that I was really not too sure of was the office and the cemetery. And the cemetery one, I really don't want to discuss at this moment. And the hall, or the office, I would really think that that would be something that I would want to hear Cindy and her input on that, because she does pretty much most of the stuff in there, if she feels that those prices are adequate or if they need to go up. But if we need to defer, I'm fine with that as well.
Okay. Councillor Maxwell.
I was going to request more time for this too. I'm just flipping through it as it's talking, and I've got a pretty good view of it now. I was curious about what the deposit fee on the hall was. Can you change that? I didn't see that. Maybe Cindy, do you know what the deposit, the damage deposit is when you rent the hall? I see it in here.
I thought it said 50% of rental.
That's a deposit down. Yeah, but that's not the damage.
Required,
Oh, we lost them again?
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
I just didn't want to talk over anybody, that's all, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, please, Cindy.
So the damage deposit required for all full-day events is, it's only required for full-day events only, must be paid in cash before the key can be issued. It's refundable upon the key return after the hall inspection, normal wear and tear accepted. A full day with no alcohol is $150 cash. A full day with alcohol is $225 cash.
Thank you. I didn't.
Anything else, Councilor Maxwell?
I wouldn't mind, I'd like to defer this because I do need more time to look at it. And if we could highlight any changes in it for our next package, that would help me as well. I'll be honest, I didn't have time to get through this one either. I'd like to just look at it more closely.
Okay, Councilor Olmsted, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I don't mind deferring it. I did have a chance to go through it. I don't want to touch the cemetery. I don't want to make any money off somebody's demise. They pay taxes here all year and every year, and they've lived here most of their lives, and I don't want to make any more money off of them. So I didn't want to touch that either. But the clerk services, they're really for oaths and witness signature, I think $5 is way too cheap. Because if you have to do anything tripping, that's not even gas money to go to North Bay. So I think to save them, I would like to increase it to, $10 or $15, and then maybe $5 for the additional signatures. I'd like to increase the map for $4. I think $10 for a map is good. And then yeah, I'd like to actually lower the cost of tax arrears. $45, they already can't pay their taxes, so I would like to lower it to 20. And the
Okay,
letter
so are
from the fire
you
department.
wanting to move it, bring this back at the next meeting?
Yeah, I would. I'd be okay
Okay.
with that. I did have time to go through it all, but I don't mind giving everybody else time to.
Okay, so Councilor Grant has asked for this to be come back next meeting. Councilor Maxwell has agreed. Councilor Cross has also agreed, as do I. So can we defer this to our next meeting, please? Cindy?
Yes, no problem.
Thank you. Okay. So then our next item on the agenda is a information letters. And we have a concern about garbage at the Wally Bridge. We received an email from Ms. Van Schie. Everyone's had a chance to read it, I'm sure. So I guess the question is, have you responded already, Cindy?
No, I'm looking for direction from council as to what they would like to, how they would like to respond, if they would like to respond.
Okay. Councilor Cross, your thoughts?
I think it's really sad that they have to deal with this issue. I think in this letter there was also reference to the swimming hole again, which we haven't truly recognized as a swimming hole. So I think, I mean, this issue would probably have to go to the ad hoc committee. And I don't know. It's not good that there's garbage, but I'm not exactly sure what it is that we can do right now until the ad hoc committee's had a chance to meet and decide whether or not we're doing anything more with it. That's all I have to say.
Councillor Maxwell?
Well, perhaps we should give a reward certificate for picking up the garbage to the tenant who did that kind act of community service. I find the language in the letter a little bit disturbing, as it's called the parking and access that we made without the normal planning process in place, and that there's some assumptions here that we're being deceitful, and we're trying to. This goes on. The real access about this letter is actually the disgruntled residents of that area that we're developing. So this should go to the planning committee and that deal with it at that time, and that the community grievances then. We have lots of people in the community picking up garbage, and we appreciate them all, especially the ones that do it along the road on the Highway 630. There's always people do that every spring as well, and it's nice that someone did it here too. I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
The only thing I wanted, did she end up getting a copy of the survey? Because I know we discussed that, and we just wanted to make sure there was no restrictions. I'm sure there shouldn't be, because it was made before she purchased the house. So we have an up-to-date survey. So she's still questioning that. Did she get a copy?
No, that's a private survey.
Mayor
Like
Penfold?
when you do a survey, you pay for it. So it's your choice if you want to share that with anyone. Okay, and the person who did
Right.
this survey doesn't want to share that.
I thought it was the gentleman that passed away, the previous owner.
Pardon me?
I thought it was the previous owner that passed away.
No.
And Cindy wanted to interject.
Mayor Pennell,
Yes.
can I respond as well, please?
Yes. Yes, please.
Chris Wally had a copy of the survey, and with his permission, I shared the information that he shared with me in regards to the survey with Ms. Banshee.
So she's implying that we didn't answer any questions, but we did answer her questions. And I'm grateful for the man that picked up the garbage. I don't know if we need to observe there more frequently. I know every time I pass by, it's clean. I'm trying to be diligent, and I would like to meet as an ad hoc committee. We're not allowed to yet. So just out of curiosity, I just wanted to make sure it was safe down there. I took my little car and it went down there safely, so somebody could park down there and not on the filling station. I just don't know why she's gone to the. We did all our permits. We checked with the Conservation Authority and the fisheries, and I just don't know what she wants us to do until COVID's over. That's all
She
I
wants
have to say.
close it down. She wants us to close down the area. That's what she wants.
Well, it's public property. It's our property.
Councillor Grant?
I'd like to, I think it'd be appropriate to thank the individual that did pick up the garbage. Just to address the letter, I think just about, I guess at this point until the ad hoc commences at some point, we could simply inspect the area every so often and, keep it tidy. I think that it's likely not an issue moving into the fall, but I would also, if there are problems, I think that could be a reasonable solution. And I hope that in the ad hoc, maybe there's I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But in the short term, I think we'd like to thank them. I think we absolutely should respond. And we can possibly inspect the area every so often and ensure that there's no outrageous trash.
I also think that we should, respond, to, Ms. Van Schie and, thank her for sending in this email to advise us of this condition, or the situation at the, fire truck filling station, and advise her that you have brought it to, it was brought to council at their meeting tonight, to make us aware of that situation. That's all I can suggest. Do you need anything further, Cindy?
Okay, so just to review, I will respond to her indicating thank you very much for advising us of the situation. We'd also like her to thank her tenant for picking up the garbage, that it was brought to council at tonight's council meeting, and that further investigation will take place once the ad hoc committee begins to meet. Does that sound what council likes as a response, would like as a response?
Councillor Cross?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
I would like to add the fact that she has a survey. She indicated that she doesn't.
Councillor Grant?
Yes.
And
Do we have a projected date of when we can have an ad hoc committee? Any kind of ballpark? Maybe we can add that in.
I don't know what our situation is on that.
I believe we wrote until the emergency was lifted. I think was the wording we used.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Maybe a
So do you
reminder
have
of
enough,
that.
Cindy?
Pardon me?
Do you have enough to respond?
I do, yes, thank you.
Do you have direction? You okay with that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Next item on the agenda is information. Well, no, they're informational letters. Is there anything there that stands out to everyone that you want to discuss? Councillor Cross?
I was wondering if we would qualify, or would it be a good idea to apply for the Spark mentorship and grant program?
I read up on that one.
And also, I was curious, are we still owed money from the MB EDC? And have we sent a similar letter if we are? That Mattawa. This is, yeah.
I believe we are still owed money from the Economic Development Corporation. But even as late as our last meeting we had at the planning board, the prior president or whatever he was of the Mattawa Bonfield Economic Development Corporation stated that they still didn't have the budget completed by the BDO, I think it is.
Yes, it is.
So they're still waiting for that to occur, and that has to happen before any money can be given back. It's not a fantastic amount of money.
That was like $600 or $700. It wasn't very much.
What was the other question? Sorry. Oh no, there was one about MB. Oh yeah, and then there was one about Spark, right? So I think in Spark you have to have like a, correct me if I'm wrong, you need to have, a tourism place take this person on board, like an apprenticeship? Is that correct? I don't know who we would have in our area do that. I think we should post it on the website and our other social media areas to make people aware of it, though. There's about a month from tomorrow, I guess, to respond. So, do you agree that, is there a way for us to apply for this funding, Trace? Cindy?
No, I think you're correct in that you have to have some kind of tourism business. I wouldn't necessarily call us a tourism business.
Yeah.
But
maybe,
we can have our website and any of the other media places that we have.
yeah, okay. Is there anything else in there, Councillor Croft?
No.
Councillor Maxwell?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. Councillor Olmsted?
Nothing for me, thanks.
And Councillor Grant?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is information letters available, and there are none. So next item, number 9, is old and new business. Do you have anything old or new, Councillor Croft?
No, I don't.
Do you have anything old or new, Councillor Maxwell?
Yes, one item I'd like to bring up for consideration is I think that would be a good idea for us to install security cameras like we have in every other building and that we own on the rink area. I think this would be a good COVID thing to know how much it's being used and if we're staying within the numbers. And it'd be good to just see, to be able to check the conditions of the rink without having to actually go and walk it to see if there's snow on it or not. So I think that installing some cameras at the rink would be a good idea, and I think that we could do it under the COVID umbrella, because we have to make sure that people are following the rules in terms of whatever the COVID rules are. But I think that just might be a way of, I think that we could use that, put under that budget category. I just like to know what everybody else thinks about that. It's the only area that we don't have cameras on right now in the township. I think it would help in the event of an accident there, or if there's any vandalism or anything like that. I just like to know what anybody else thinks about that. That's all.
Yeah, we could look at investigating a price for that and bring it back.
That's a very good idea.
Okay, so we can ask Cindy or Jacob to look into that for us. Would you be able to do that for us, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Anything else old or new, Councilor Maxwell?
That's all. Thank you.
Anything from you, Councilor Olmsted?
Just an inquiry. The road that was put in at the dump, what's it for and where does it go to?
The road that was put in at the dump. Not familiar with that, so.
Oh, there's a, oh, sorry.
Sorry, were you referring to the gravel that was used at the landfill by, when we had the bulldozer up there to level up the tipping edge?
Oh, is that what it was for? Okay.
Yeah, there was work at the tipping edge. I believe, if Chris doesn't mind, let him answer that question because he was up there taking care of the work with the bulldozer. Are you able to take this, Chris?
Yeah, I can respond. We had brought in, I believe it was 10 loads of gravel to cap the surface on the landfill site where the cars are backing up, and that was to cap the mud and everything that they have to back up through. And it was in Jacob's budget to do that, those 10 loads. So while we had the bulldozer there, we used it to backblade and level it up. And I think it made a big difference in the top.
It did. It looks really good. That's why I kind of, wow, we got a new road there. Okay, good. Thank you.
Well, we've never really
That's
put much gravel there in the 18 years that I've been here, and it's a big asset, I think, to cover that garbage. We're constantly running over broken glass and debris, and even the residents, when they back up there with their own vehicles, are running over lots of crap that they shouldn't be.
Yes.
So every once in a while,
Thank you.
we do that.
Cool. Great. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anything old or new, Councillor Grant?
No. No, I'm good,
No?
thank you.
Okay. Cindy, anything old or new?
I would just like to let council know that we have someone from the film industry interested in renting our parking lot from the evening of September 17th. And by evening, I mean probably 11 midnight time till the evening of September 23rd. So they've requested that they can use our parking lot to put all their vehicles in. They're going to be doing some filming in Eau Claire Gorge. And so we've agreed to allow them to use the parking lot. So there was a planning board meeting on the 17th, but the planning board meeting, I would anticipate, will be over before 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And the other thing that was a possibility was a council meeting, but because we're still having council meetings electronic, then that would be a moot point. If we decided to go to a physical meeting for that particular council meeting, councilors could park their vehicles on the other side of the building where staff park their vehicles. So we didn't think it would be an issue. So just wanted to let council know that that's where all these vehicles are coming from. Is it's a film crew.
And we are going to charge them $100 a day.
Yes, that's correct.
Anything else, Cindy?
And just an update in terms of the camera for live streaming when we do go to physical meetings. I think I found a good solution for the camera. It's been ordered. I'm hoping to test it out this week, maybe next week, depending on timing. There's a lot going on right now, so that we can continue our live streaming to the public of our council meetings. I do want to test it out to make sure that it's clear. I've consulted 2 other municipalities who are using this camera, and they're quite happy with it. We also do have a 30-day return policy, so if it doesn't work out for us, then it can be returned. Many of the other ones that I was investigating, they wouldn't, because of COVID-19, they wouldn't allow you to return it. So we'd like to get that tested and make sure it's something that we'll have in place for when we go to physical in-person meetings.
I think that sounds really great. anything else, Cindy?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone. So next item on the agenda is accounts approval report. There was some information included in our package, and then we had a supplement sent out today. Hoping everybody had a chance to look at those. So I need a mover and a seconder to approve this resolution. Councilor Olmsted, can you move this one?
Yes. Are we doing the disbursements?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Councilor Grant, can you second this one?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. So we have mover Heather Olmsted, second by Dean Grant, that disbursement dated September the 3rd in the amount of $24,809.95, and September the 8th, 2020, in amount of $120,072.62, be hereby authorized and passed for payment. Any discussion, Councilor Cross?
No discussion.
Councilor Maxwell?
Senator, the graphic signs from Seymour graphic signs, are those all the signs? Are those the parking signs as well, or are they just COVID signs? Or, yeah, because I think we did approve some parking signs.
They're all the signs.
Okay. How many parking signs and how many COVID signs?
Just give me a second.
It should be 6 no parking signs that will go up in the Wally Bridge area, and 3 no parking within certain time limits that will go up at the Smith Lake boat launch area. In addition, one of the signs was the rink sign for the rink maintenance manual that's installed on the rink building. And then the remainder of them were COVID signs. There is 3 at the municipal grounds, indicating that the areas aren't regularly sanitized. One's the outhouses, one is the playground, the soccer field, and the baseball diamond. I apologize, it was 4 of the COVID signs, not 3.
Okay, thank you. That's
Anything
everything.
further, Councilor Maxwell?
No,
Okay, Councilor Olmsted?
No, nothing further.
Councilor Grant?
No discussion.
Okay, so we need a vote on passing this resolution. Councilor Cross, you vote yea or nay?
Yay.
Councilor Maxwell?
yes,
Councilor Olmsted?
Yes.
Councilor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yea as well. This resolution is carried. Thank you.
No panel.
Yes.
Just before we, I'm just asking if before we move into a closed door session, if we can, or whatever order, but at some point shortly, can we have a 5-minute recess?
Yes, just a sec, okay. I just want to find out how we're going into that closed meeting. Do we have to dial back in, or how is that going to go, Cindy?
Actually, what I thought I could pause the live streaming, but unfortunately it looks like I can't. So we're going to have to stop the live streaming. We don't have to stop the meeting.
Okay.
We just have to stop the live streaming, and then I will do my best to start it back up again once we are out of the closed portion.
Okay, well, we do have one visitor, or I don't know how you want to call it, one member of the public. Oh, they were here, they're gone now.
Yes.
Okay. So if we're okay with this, I think we should take our break before we go into the closed portion. So it is 8:44 now. How about we come back at 8:55? Okay?
Sure, okay, if 5 minutes is sufficient, if, anyway, I don't know, whatever, how everyone else feels, but I'll definitely take whatever the mayor's recommendation is.
Okay, let's go 8:55. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Cindy's clock says 8:55. So we'll continue. I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for this resolution. That's to go into a closed meeting. Sandy, can you move this one?
Yes, I can.
And Heather, could you second it?
Yep, I can.
Thank you. So we have the resolution moved by Councillor Cross, second by Councillor Olmsted, that this portion of the meeting be now closed under Municipal Act 2001 as per section 239 2D, labor relations or employee negotiations, re student landfill position. So any discussion? Sandy?
No discussion.
Dan?
No discussion?
Heather?
No discussion.
And Dean?
No discussion.
Okay, so we need to vote on this. Councillor Cross, you vote yea or nay?
Yay.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to stop live streaming now.